Have you ever looked at a toddler, full of energy one moment and then sniffling under a blanket the next, and thought, how can someone so small catch every little bug that goes around? It's one of the things that pulls at your heart, isn't it? Seeing your grandchild with flushed cheeks, a runny nose, or those big, tired eyes when they're under the weather. You want to scoop them up, wrap them in a warm blanket, and somehow just take it all away. The truth is, toddlers are still building up their immune systems, and it's perfectly normal for them to get sick now and then. But that doesn't mean there's nothing we can do. In fact, the little things we do every day, the habits we help them form, the foods we offer, the rhythms we create, those can have a huge impact on how well their bodies fight off illness. And the best part? We don't need anything fancy. We don't need a shelf full of supplements or expensive superfoods. We can support their immune health using simple, natural habits, many of which you probably already use in your own life. As someone who's probably raised children yourself, or is helping to raise the next generation now, you already know the power of consistency. Whether it's brushing teeth, saying please and thank you, or holding hands to cross the street, it's those daily routines that shape who children become. Well, the same goes for building a strong immune system. It's not about one big thing, it's about a handful of small, thoughtful habits practiced every day. So today, we're going to walk through 4 daily habits that can help toddlers build a strong, resilient immune system. Habits that are safe, gentle, and best of all, completely natural. These are things you can do right at home, whether you're a full-time caregiver, a loving grandparent, or just someone who wants to support their little one's health in the best way possible. Let's start with something you might already treasure in your own routine, getting outside in the fresh air. It seems simple, doesn't it? But even just a little time outdoors each day can do wonders for a toddler's immune system. Sunlight helps the body produce vitamin D, which plays a big role in how well we fight off infections. And I'm not talking about long hikes or anything strenuous. Just a walk around the block, a few minutes playing in the yard, even sitting on the porch and letting them poke around in the grass. If your grandchild is anything like most toddlers, they probably love being outside anyway. You'll notice it in their eyes, the way they light up when they spot a butterfly or chase after a falling leaf. And while they're soaking in all those sights and sounds, their body is soaking in immune-boosting benefits. It helps regulate their sleep, reduces stress, and keeps their internal clock running smoothly, all things that directly support a strong immune system. And while we're on the topic of daily rhythm, let's talk about one of the most underrated tools for building immunity: sleep. Good, consistent sleep is like nature's reset button. It gives the body time to heal, recharge, and build the defenses it needs to keep going strong. Toddlers need a lot more sleep than we do, often 11 to 14 hours in a 24-hour period, including naps. But as you probably know, getting a toddler to sleep well isn't always easy. That's where your wisdom and presence come in. Creating a gentle, predictable bedtime routine, something as simple as a warm bath, a story, and a soft lullaby, can help their body know when it's time to wind down. That consistency tells their immune system, it's safe now. You can focus on repair. You can grow strong. And it's not just about the hours of sleep, it's about the quality. Making sure their room is dark, quiet, and cool can help them stay asleep longer and more deeply. And believe me, the difference shows. A well-rested toddler is often a happier, more resilient toddler, not just in mood, but in health. Now, I want to pause here for just a moment to say something important. As someone who's lived through decades of changing health advice, you might sometimes feel overwhelmed by all the conflicting information out there. What used to be good for us now has a warning label. What worked for our children might be questioned for our grandchildren. It can feel confusing. But when it comes to supporting a child's immunity, the foundation is still as solid as ever: fresh air, deep sleep, good food, and love. Speaking of food, let's ease into the next daily habit that works wonders for a toddler's immune health, and that's serving whole, real foods every day. Now I know we haven't always called it that. Back in the day, we just called it dinner. But these days, with so many boxed and processed choices on store shelves, it's easy for toddlers to fill up on snacks that don't give their body the nutrients it needs. What they do need are the foods that come from the earth: fruits, vegetables, whole grains, simple proteins. Think about a warm bowl of oatmeal with berries in the morning. A piece of steamed broccoli with lunch. A spoonful of sweet potato or mashed avocado. These foods are rich in vitamins like C, A, and E, and those are crucial for building strong immunity. And here's something to remember: toddlers don't need perfect diets, they need consistent exposure. If they turn their nose up the first time, don't worry. Offer it again, maybe next week, maybe cooked a little differently. Sometimes it takes 10 tries, or more, before a child accepts a new food. That's not failure, that's just how tiny humans learn. They watch, they touch, they taste. And when they see you eating and enjoying those same foods, it helps more than you know. That's part of the beauty of being a grandparent or caregiver. You get to model health in such a gentle, loving way. By simply sitting down with them and eating the same nourishing foods, you're showing them what it looks like to care for your body. And that example sticks with them, even if they don't realize it yet. Now that we've talked about the power of fresh air, the importance of deep sleep, and the role of real food in building strong little immune systems, we're already seeing how natural and doable this can be. These aren't new tricks, they're timeless practices. Things you already know deep down. Things you've probably used for decades to care for the people you love. And there's more. Because when we understand the rhythm of a toddler's body, what helps it thrive, what throws it off, we can keep adding in gentle, effective habits that make a real difference. One of the most often overlooked but incredibly powerful habits for boosting a toddler's immunity is making time each day for gut health. I know that might sound a little strange at first. How often did we think about the gut when our kids were growing up, right? We mostly worried about whether they were full, clean, and asleep by a reasonable hour. But science has caught up to what many of us always sensed: a happy tummy often means a healthier child. The gut is home to something called the microbiome, basically a whole community of friendly bacteria that help the body digest food, fight off bad germs, and regulate inflammation. For toddlers, whose bodies are still developing, keeping that little internal community strong is key to supporting their immune system. And the best part? It's actually pretty simple to nurture. It starts with what we feed them. Foods like plain yogurt, kefir, bananas, and even just fiber-rich fruits and vegetables can help good bacteria thrive. You don't need to hand them a supplement or chase after probiotic powders. Most of what they need can be served right from your kitchen. A spoonful of yogurt at breakfast, a slice of banana at snack time, some peas or beans on their dinner plate, it all works together to build a healthy gut, and with it, stronger immunity. Even more than the food itself, what really matters is consistency. The gut doesn't need a miracle food once in a while. It needs regular, nourishing meals, simple, clean, and full of variety. When toddlers eat a rainbow of real foods throughout the week, their gut thanks them by doing its job better. That means fewer colds, less tummy trouble, and more energy to play, learn, and grow. Now, here's something that might surprise you. One of the most powerful immune-boosting habits for toddlers has nothing to do with what they eat or how they sleep. It's something softer. It's about how safe and connected they feel. Yes, I'm talking about emotional comfort and security, those quiet, loving moments that help their little nervous systems stay calm and balanced. When toddlers feel safe, when they're hugged, rocked, spoken to gently, and cared for with patience, their bodies don't stay in that stressed out, fight or flight state. And that's important, because too much stress, even in little ones, can weaken the immune system. It puts the body on constant high alert, and that takes energy away from the systems that are supposed to keep them healthy. This doesn't mean you have to be perfect. Toddlers will cry, they'll have tantrums, and sometimes you'll feel like you're doing everything wrong. But what matters most is your presence. Your calm voice. Your warm arms. Your willingness to slow down and be with them in those messy moments. That's what helps their little bodies learn how to regulate, and that, in turn, supports their ability to fight off illness more effectively. Think of the toddler's body like a house under construction. You wouldn't want to build a home during a thunderstorm, right? You want calm, stable weather so the builders can do their job. The same goes for their immune system. Calm, steady love gives their body the right environment to grow strong and stable. You might be wondering how this fits into the day practically. And the truth is, it doesn't take much. 5 minutes of eye contact while reading a book. A gentle rub on the back before nap time. Even singing their favorite silly song while brushing teeth can build connection and emotional safety. These small moments of love are like little shields. They help protect them not just emotionally, but physically, too. And let's be honest, those are the moments that stay with us, aren't they? Long after the diapers and sippy cups are gone, what we remember are the cuddles on the couch, the laughter in the kitchen, and the way those little arms wrapped around our necks. Those are the memories that shape their sense of self and their sense of being cared for. All of this, fresh air, good sleep, real food, gut health, emotional safety, it's not about doing everything perfectly. It's about weaving a gentle rhythm into the day. Something that feels natural and nourishing for both the child and the adult. Because when you take care of them with love and intention, you're also giving yourself something precious, the peace of knowing you're doing your best to support their growth in the most natural, effective way. And let's be honest here, being a grandparent or caregiver in today's world isn't always easy. You've probably seen parenting trends come and go. You've heard 100 different opinions on screen time, diet, sleep routines. But what never goes out of style is presence. Kindness. Nourishment. Those things have stood the test of time, and they still matter, maybe more than ever. It can feel good to get back to basics. To trust your instincts. To choose real, whole foods over fads. To slow down and play, rather than rush from one structured activity to the next. To recognize that boosting a child's immunity isn't about fear, it's about love. It's about supporting the body's natural intelligence with the tools it's already asking for. And when you do these things, day by day, little by little, you start to see the changes. The toddler who used to catch every cold seems to bounce back faster. The one who used to wake up cranky starts sleeping more soundly. You begin to notice fewer sick days and more days filled with joy and play. It's a slow transformation, but a powerful one. And it begins with habits that feel just like everyday care, but carry the weight of lifelong impact. Now that we've looked at some of the ways toddlers build strong immunity through food, sleep, emotional safety, and a healthy gut, we can start to connect the dots. These aren't isolated tips, they're a web of support. They overlap, they strengthen each other, and they all come back to one thing: creating a stable, loving environment where a child can thrive. And it's incredible when you think about it, how the smallest adjustments in your day can have such a lasting impact. All it really takes is showing up, paying attention, and responding with love and intention. That's the heart of it, really. Building a strong immune system in toddlers doesn't come from panic or perfection, it comes from presence. It comes from caring just a little deeper about what we feed them, how we comfort them, and how we guide their little routines. Now, there's one more daily habit that ties everything together, and it's something you might not immediately think of as health-related, but it absolutely is. I'm talking about play. Simple, unstructured, good old-fashioned play. Not the kind where there's a score to keep or rules to follow, but the kind where toddlers get to explore, move, and express themselves freely. You see, when toddlers play, they're not just passing the time, they're developing physically, emotionally, and even immunologically. When they move their bodies, whether it's climbing on furniture, chasing bubbles, or dancing in the kitchen, they're improving circulation, boosting lung function, and helping their lymphatic system flush out toxins. That's right, movement helps keep the immune system active and alert. And just as important is how they play. Open-ended play, where a toddler gets to follow their own curiosity, helps reduce stress and support emotional balance. Whether they're building towers with blocks or pretending to cook dinner beside you, they're making sense of the world, solving problems, and learning how to feel safe and capable. And as we touched on earlier, when the body feels safe, the immune system works better. Everything is connected. Play also invites connection. When you sit down and build a puzzle with your grandchild, or simply sit nearby while they pretend their stuffed animals are going on a picnic, you're doing more than keeping them busy. You're telling them, you matter. I enjoy being with you. And that message sinks deep into their little hearts. It creates a sense of security that carries into every other part of their health. And don't worry, it doesn't have to be all day. Just carving out a few windows of time for open-ended play, even 10 or 15 minutes here and there, can be enough. It's not about doing more, it's about doing what you already do with just a little more awareness. More eye contact. More curiosity. More patience to let them lead for a moment or two. Now, I know it can be tiring sometimes. Toddlers have boundless energy, and you might not always feel up for playing pretend or crawling around the floor. That's okay. Even just being present while they play, offering a smile or asking about their game, can go a long way. They don't need perfection. They need presence. And no one knows how to give that better than someone with your kind of life experience. It's funny how the more we talk about these habits, fresh air, restful sleep, nourishing food, emotional safety, movement, and play, the more they start to sound like the ingredients for a good life at any age. And that's part of the beauty here. Supporting your toddler's immune system doesn't mean turning your whole world upside down. It just means bringing your own wisdom and steadiness into their everyday routines. And as you do that, something else happens. You start to notice your own health benefiting too. Maybe your own sleep improves when you wind down earlier for bedtime stories. Maybe your own digestion feels better when you're cooking more real food for your grandchild and enjoying it together. Maybe you feel a little more calm, a little more joyful, simply because you're living more gently, more intentionally. The relationship between a grandparent and a child, or any loving adult and a toddler, is one of the most powerful forces in the world. There's safety in that bond. There's trust. And when that trust is built on small, consistent acts of care, it creates a foundation for lifelong health, not just for the child, but for you, too. So if you've been worried about your grandchild catching every cold that goes around, or you've wondered if there's anything you can do to help them stay stronger naturally, I hope you're feeling a little more hopeful now. The tools are already in your hands. You've used them before, even if you didn't have all the modern language for it. Now, you just get to use them again, with a little more intention and a whole lot of love. These 4 simple habits, getting outside, prioritizing sleep, feeding them whole foods, and making space for play and emotional connection, aren't complicated. But they're powerful. And they don't require fancy gadgets or a medical degree. Just time. Just attention. Just you, showing up, day by day, in all the beautiful, ordinary ways you already do. Before we finish, let me leave you with this: the immune system isn't just a shield. It's a reflection of how well the body is being cared for, how safe, how rested, how nourished and loved that little body feels. So if all you do is create an environment where your toddler feels safe, well-fed, rested, and free to explore, then you're already doing the most important work. If you found these tips helpful, or you've tried any of them with your grandchildren or the children you care for, I'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share what's worked for you, because chances are, there's another family out there who could benefit from your story. And if you'd like more tips like this, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. We're building a community here of grandparents, caregivers, and thoughtful adults who believe in raising healthy, happy kids the natural way. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Your care makes a difference, and your love is already shaping a stronger, brighter future for your little ones. Here's to health, to joy, and to the beautiful bond between generations. Take good care, and I'll see you next time.